We're gonna drink some beers, 'cause we won the league this year. We are the mighty, mighty Forge. Forge FC has won the Canadian Premier League yet again. That's right, Forge, coming back after losing disappointingly at home last season to Pacific, has on the road in Ottawa won a third North Star Shield. And the Hammers and us fans once again get to celebrate a Canadian Premier League title. Which reminds me, I think I need something. Oh! Back to the microwave plate, boys. The Forge have done it again. Forge came out and were just dominant this game. Pure class from the starting kickoff. They were the better team. Ottawa started off a little defensive, and Forge made them pay for it. Alessandro Hojabrpour heads in a Tristan Borges free kick. Hojabrpour is huge in championship games. The guy scored the winning goal in the 2021 CPL championship for Pacific against Forge, and this year comes to Forge and scores the winning goal for Forge against Ottawa. The guy, 2 CPL championships, 2 seasons as a pro, 2 championship winning goals. You can't write that. Ottawa came pushed a bit at the end of the second half, and really, for Ottawa, their biggest problem was their best push of the game was like the last 3 minutes of the first half. And that was a point where literally just the clock was against them at that point. Like, they had the whole first half. They didn't really get anything going until the last 4 minutes-ish. And they had a bit of a push at the end of the first half, but it got cut short because of halftime, and then the second half starts, and it's right back to where they started. Forge again controlling play in the second half. And then David Chouanier scores an absolutely incredible goal. First off, Garvin Metusala getting subbed in as a midfielder. When they subbed Metusala on for Jensen, I thought either A, they're putting Metusala at center back and putting Achinoti Janssen up in midfield, or B, they're going 5 at the back. But no, Garvin Metusala came on as a midfielder and had an absolutely fantastic run up the midfield to, at the top of the box, kicks the ball wide to David Chouanier, who's running into the box, and Chouanier, just a little beautiful tip-tap off of both of his feet, gets the shot off. David Chouanier, in big games, he scores big goals, and he scores the second goal for Forge, 2-0. That's all she wrote. From that moment forward, it was pretty much set that the game was over. Despite it not being the team I thought that was going to beat Ottawa, the reason for why I thought Ottawa was going to lose the final came exactly true. Teams that have been in championships know how to play in championships. And in the CPL, no one knows better how to play in championships and how to play in knockout games than the Forge. And the Forge came out this game absolutely on fire, controlling the play, all that. Ottawa seemed nervous. Ottawa seemed to sit back at the beginning. They didn't get the ball consistent possession in Forge's half until 7 minutes into the game. It took them that long to even have possession of the ball in the Forge's half. And they didn't really show any potential offensively until like the last 3 minutes and a half. In fact, that Forge goal, the Hojabrpour one, was almost good for Ottawa because it forced them to wake up and realize, oh, we can't be nervous sitting back and letting Forge come to us. But that was almost too little too late when they had that realization, because Forge was already in control of the game. So in the end, Ottawa's lack of experience in finals, their nervousness really was their undoing. And really, like, their key players, Balou Tabla was great, but Ollie Bassett was invisible and was subbed off with 10 minutes to go. You're subbing off the player of the year, players player of the year, 10 minutes left and you're down 2 goals. That tells you the type of game he was having. So while Forge came in and played excellent in the final, Ottawa's decisions in this game kind of made it easier for them. Now, anyone who watched my playoffs predictions videos will know I said that Cavalry was going to beat Forge and then win the CPL championship. The second Daniel Crutzen was on the field, walked onto Tim Hortons field in game 2 of that Forge Cavalry series, I knew the championship was coming to Forge. Achinoti Janssen being forced to play mid-defender pretty much the whole season because Crutzen was hurt the entire year. He played 2 games in the regular season after missing like the first 5 months, and then immediately had a head injury after those first 2 games and was out until the playoffs. Actually, Janssen was the defender of the year as a midfielder playing out of position for Forge. So Forge had the defender of the year, and then after that, their defense is kind of like, suspect at points. Then you bring in Daniel Crutzen. When Crutzen came back, you're adding the best defender in the CPL to a defensive backline that already had the 2022 CPL defender of the year. And once he came back, 1 goal against in 2 games for Forge, and it was when they were already up 2-0 against Cavalry, and the Forge defense, that center back pairing against Ottawa today was absolutely fantastic. They were stellar. Ottawa was not getting anything by them. They were great in the box. They were great in the scramble moments. Crutzen and Ashton Janssen together might be the best defensive duo the CPL has ever seen. And the fact that they're both ball-moving center backs, it's just an absolutely lights out defensive combo, and so Crutzen coming back just completely changed the game for Forge. I mean, remember at the beginning of the season when Crutzen obviously was hurt, and before they figured out that Ashton Janssen was a very capable center back, Forge was not good. And once they figured out that actually Janssen could play back there, things changed, and then once Crutzen comes back, it's game over. You're in trouble. No one can beat that back line. Now, I know a lot of non-Forge fans obviously are upset that Forge has won 3 of the first 4 North Star Shields and been in the final of all 4. That's honestly understandable. I would be upset too if it was freaking Cavalry or something. But interestingly, I noticed this a couple weeks ago when everyone was talking about that, is Forge has now completely mirrored DC United when MLS started. When MLS started, DC United won year 1, won year 2, lost in the final in year 3, won year 4. And then after that, they didn't make the finals again until year 9 when they won, and DC United has yet to make an MLS Cup final since then. It's now year 27 of MLS. So just because DC United won 3 of the first 4, they fell off hard after that and have only won 1 since and none in the past 18 seasons of Major League Soccer. So just because Forge had a good start doesn't mean it's going to last forever. And honestly, if I had to pick the team that's going to be the next CPL dynasty, it would be Ottawa. Atletico Ottawa has a huge money backing behind them with Atletico Madrid. They have a very good team that they've built. And I think if they can keep the majority of this group together, now that they have experience in a CPL finals, they are definitely going to be the first choice to win the league next year. Combine that with the fact that Bassett and Tabla are both pretty young players. If they can keep those 2 guys around, this could be a team that is a very good team in the CPL for a very long time. So that's it. The 2022 Canadian Premier League season is over. It was an absolutely fantastic season in the Canadian Premier League. There was some criticism about the gap between the playoff teams. Valor popped off a bit to make things close at the end. York, with a whole season of Babuli, would have been right in the playoff race. The playoff race was a lot closer than what the standings showcased for most of the season. And honestly, I know the playoffs got off to a rocky start with the attendances being for the 3,000s for the Cavalry and Pacific legs, and then the second legs, because there was 2 weeks to sell them, both Forge and Ottawa set season highs in those legs. And then today in the final, 14,992 fans packed in to TD Place Stadium in Ottawa. That is why the CFL stadiums are not a bad idea. You can grow for the big games. You can fill up an extra half of the stadium for big games. If Ottawa was in their own designated stadium, there'd be 7,500 fans, maybe 8,000 in this game. 14,992 people showed up, the biggest paying crowd in Canadian Premier League history. And the Forge sold out a whole 180 plus person section with extra Forge fans peripherally. A couple hundred Forge fans made the trip up, made the 5-hour drive. Just huge drive from those guys. The only reason I wasn't there was because I'm in Edmonton for school. I would have been there otherwise. And honestly, I feel so happy that those Forge fans got to finally see Forge win with their own eyes, because obviously the first year was in Calgary, so it was a bit of a longer journey. There weren't as many Forge fans there, and then the second season obviously was in the bubble. When we finally got the chance to play at home, we lost. So it was good now that at least some Forge fans finally got to see Forge win in front of their own 2 eyes. I still have to wait for that pleasure. Hopefully I can see it soon. So cheers to the Forge, to another great season of the Canadian Premier League. Next year, we add Vancouver. Fingers crossed FC Edmonton sticks around. The future of Canadian football looks bright. But there's one thing that people must remember. It's forever first, forever Forge. So that is for this video. If you liked it, hit like if you want to see more of my stuff. Hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description. We're gonna drink some more beers because we won the league this year. Toodles.